Hello, everyone. Today we're gonna really talk about a little bit about token economics, where we're gonna do an experiment to see how well we can do that using Entire. I'm gonna quickly just post in Discord that we're live, so people who are on our Discord know that. And this is a chill stream. I really like streams to be super chill. But let me just tell them like, hey, we're live if you want to tune in on YouTube. And um just if you're in the chat, tell me where you're tuning in from. Are you like global? I'm in the Boston area right now. So just let me know. And I'm going to put at everybody. This should be an interesting stream. All right. So let's chat. Um, right now, and it hasn't switched to my screen. Let me just share whole screen really quick and then look at who's in the chat. Weird that it only wants to show Discord. I want to show my terminal. Who cares about Discord? There we go. Awesome. All right. So I see Eric. Welcome, welcome. I see Joseph. Eric, you said you're in Mexico, but you're usually in Brooklyn, and Joseph's in Cyprus. Amazing. Global. All right. So this is our first live stream that we've done for Entire. And like I said, I wanted to talk a little bit about how we can save tokens. I think very early on in the agentic era. I don't know what a better word is to use here, but very early on when developers were being encouraged to use agents, companies were like, just use it as much as you want, as much as you can. But now we see a lot of companies saying like, let's use a little bit less tokens because it's costing us money. And then the other reality is maybe people whose companies aren't paying for them to use agents, or maybe they're not necessarily working for a company at all and they have to pay for themselves. So the reality is not all of us have these unlimited tokens. I've been really blessed to, and I just use, people are like, oh my god, you use Fable on high or GPT 5.6 Soul on high. Yeah, like I do. I'm like, I want the highest reasoning. I want the best output. Um, Also, hey, yeah, save the token and save the environment. That is a good point as well, because as we know, AI usage does increase a lot of like water usage as well, right? Because there's a lot of data centers that have to be put up. And to clarify for some folks, AI is not the only technology that needs data centers, but it does use a significant amount, so that's helpful as well. Hey, from Philly and local models after frontier planning. I've been trying to get into local models, and I haven't had a good experience. But that's mostly because I used to build a product called Goose, and Goose just doesn't work well with those stuff, anyways. But anyways, before let me start diving in, right? And for anyone who's like watching this afterwards or whatever, I do want to give a brief precursor to what Entire is. I recognize a lot of you guys' names from the Discord, so you might already know what Entire is and what it does. But for folks who don't, it's a couple of things, right? First off, it's a Git hosting platform. And when I say this, I mean that if you're like, I don't know what that is, I'm just thinking of people who might be like newer to coding or whatever. The places where you store your code, such as GitHub, GitLab, Bitbucket, those are all Git hosting platforms because they allow you to store your code, but they also allow you to do version control, where you can say, all right, I want to git add, git commit, and git push some code over to these platforms. Or I want to pull down code or whatever. So it helps with version control there. And but the key difference here with Entire is that it enables better collaboration between agents and humans. Our Git hosting platform, we're making sure it's super fast by making sure there's different uh, areas for you to host your repos wherever you are. Like we saw people are in Philly, Cyprus, Mexico, wherever you are, you should be able to quickly put your code into that repo and pull it out into regional styles to be specific. Um, so we're making sure it's fast because the agents have been putting a lot of weight on Git hosting platforms. In addition to that, in addition to making sure it's fast, we also have built this semantic reasoning layer. And that may sound like a really big phrase, or like you might be like, what is that? It's essentially just we're capturing what's happening behind the scenes with your agent, whatever prompts you gave it, the transcript, the tool calls that happened. And I can show you here. In entire.io. You can see it in your terminal, but this might be more visually like easier to process for you. So I can go to any project. We'll go here. Yeah, we'll go to entire session, entire.io. This is like the website that this is literally the repo for this particular website. And you can see, okay, everything that everybody's working on or has worked on. You see here, I started a session and I wanted to add like, um, what did I do here? Let me see. I think I was just preserving the blog heading URLs, right? And so you can see a transcript of what I prompted, how I prompted it, which model I was chatting with, Codex. And as you can see, I already forgot. I'm already like, what did I do 2 days ago? And this was a 2 hour and 45-minute session. So oftentimes you forget and you're like, what is this? Especially if something goes down in production and you're like, what the heck did I just do? You can always look back at what happened. But I think the real benefit is not that you're like sitting here reading every single log, because I've talked to people about that and they're like, I'm not going to read every log. Of course not. The cool thing is we have different commands where you can run like things like um, entire checkpoint explain or entire search, various amount of commands that allow you to ask specific questions about your session, rather than sitting there reading and putting the pieces together manually yourself. I also more often just ask my agent what happened in the session, or what went wrong, what decisions did we make, and my agent will refer to this session and it'll run the commands on its own. So I'm also not even memorizing any commands. So that's just like a little bit of a precursor on what entire is. Let me see what people said in the chat. The capture is amazing. I'm building a whole project around that. That's amazing. That's great. Yeah, and the cool thing is it kind of works. The capturing kind of is very similar to the workflow of like when you do a Git commit. Like we're really not changing your whole workflow at all. If you do Git add and then you do Git commit, it'll start capturing your session, and then you do Git push and it puts it up on another branch, or a separate branch. Eric says, I've been trying to troubleshoot the sessions. I imported a huge project yesterday, but it still somehow shows empty. I squashed merge commits. It seems like that might have something to do with it. Maybe ping us in Discord if you haven't already, and let's see if we can work that out. Sometimes that does happen to me, and honestly, I asked my agent to figure out like what is going on, why didn't it import it. You might even see that happen to me today. I've had an issue with Codex in particular. If you're using Codex, you do have to trust all the hooks for it to actually like grab your session history. That's like a particular Codex thing, so I don't know if that's what's going on for you. I have a better use case. If you use agents, your workforce vanishes every time you start a new session. Entire gives you the ability to onboard new agents. Oh, that is a good point too. Another agent can easily pick up where things left off. It already has that context without you having to re-explain everything. I remember like before Entire, I'd be like, hey, I'm trying to do this. Or like maybe I'm like, I ran out of tokens in Codex and I want to move to Claude because I have tokens for Fable. Now I have to re-explain the whole thing. You don't need to do that because it has that access already. All right, so maybe I'm talking too much. I'm talking too much. The thing I want to show you guys now too is entire graph. So I'm pulling up my notes on the side because, guys, I'm not someone that just talks. I mean, it's not like I wrote exactly what I need to say word for word, but I like to have a little bit of notes so I don't just ramble. Okay, so in addition to the semantic reasoning layer being helpful for you as a user and being helpful for you and being helpful for your agents, right? We also deciding how do we take this data and make entire even more helpful for you, right? We're not just going to leave it at being a Git hosting platform with this semantic reasoning layer. What else can we do with it? So we're trying out something called entire graph. This is very experimental, just so you know. I think one of the cool things about it is that our intern and our CEO collaborated to build this out. So entire graph is kind of our first step in building a kind of like a brain for your agents, a better memory. I think a lot of people are trying to solve agentic memory right now, and it's still not quite solved. So what entire graph does, like very simply, is it creates a map of your code base and quickly finds like what you want to do. Because a lot of times when you put in a prompt in your agent, it burns a lot of tokens searching for what you're talking about because it doesn't have that prior context. It's like, oh, Rizal wants to fix this bug. First, I have to figure out what that where mentions of that particular word is, and then it might find all the files with that function or variable or method, whatever it is, and then it has to like go even more narrow, and like all of that is wasting time and tokens. So the idea behind this is that it creates a map and it can quickly go to where it needs to go and solve your issues quicker and faster. Let me pause and see if there's any questions. If people are like, girl, I don't know what you're talking about. I've been building in this space for a minute. Amazing. Amazing. That's great. I mean, I've been in the like AI space, but not the semantic, not the background behind. I've been in the like, here's the building an agent. Entire graph is actually what got my attention. I built my own graph native parser. Ooh, okay, love seeing this approach. Awesome, awesome. Okay, so I want to show you guys. I did one experiment before this and it failed, but we're gonna try another one. I'm just gonna show you what I ended up doing, and I think it didn't work as well as I wanted it to. So here's the first here's a scenario that I thought it would be super helpful for, and maybe we could debug later. The reason I also don't want to rerun this is because it took like 17 minutes to solve. So I am a maintainer on the side for this project called Goose. I think it's AAIF. Yeah, a lot has changed, right? So I used to work at Block. I used to work particularly on Goose. And then now I don't work at Block anymore. I'm still listed as a maintainer and I hop in every now and then, but the project has changed. And this is proof that I'm a contributor. Like my face is first. You know what I mean? So even though I haven't contributed in quite some time, and I was looking through some of the issues, I'm like, oh, these ones seem easy, but the code base changed so much. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't really have enough context on what's going on. Even though obviously I can prompt my agent, and that's what I'm going to do. I still want to have enough like know-how so I'm efficiently prompting my agent and not making it do stupid stuff, right? So I thought maybe this is a good use case for entire graph, and I like did two different comparisons. I had one where entire graph wasn't installed, and I told it, hey, let's just implement this issue where they want to be able to pin or star the chats that they have on the side. Like you can do that in Codex here. if I can pull that up for you guys. I'm not gonna run Goose because it eats up all of my my RAM. Um, so I think that would make the live stream fail a little bit. But right here in Codex, just giving you guys the idea, you can press pin and it'll pin a chat. So I was like, oh, that seems easy, but there's all this things that got changed, and this person said it's actually like dependent on another issue, something with agent client protocol. I'm like, whoa, this really changed. I have no clue what's going on. So I did a comparison to see if you didn't use entire graph versus using entire graph, will I use less or more tokens? I failed somehow, and I ended up using more tokens with entire graph. And then I was asking Codex, let's take a look, because I didn't get to read this yet, on why it wasn't successful. But I have a smaller task that we can try out on a very small project as well that we'll make sure we do live. I just wanted to show you guys like the real, because I think a lot of times we show like, oh, this is always successful with agents, but I want to show like, okay, here's what happened. So I was saying, hey, can you compare and analyze what happened here? And it reviewed like the difference between when I used graph versus the baseline. And with graph, I used this much. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's maybe not big enough. Tokens and graph used about 17.1% more. And let's figure out why. So it says what happened with entire graph. The one graph search was genuinely good. In 4.7 seconds, it surfaced session update builder, the archived at. Okay, great. But the agent immediately reverted to traditional exploration. And but it did say the code quality. Let's see, both versions did it right. Neither is review ready on the central compromise. Okay. So I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna give this as feedback to the intern and to my CEO. Like maybe I wasn't using it right, or maybe this is not the greatest scenario, or I missed something. But anyways, let's try a really small scenario. What I'm gonna do, I have this project. It's not the coolest. I just keep using it. And it might make me, let me mute this. Yeah, I have this project. We use that at We Are Developers. It's like a whack game. But I was like, I can do a really small thing, and for the leaderboard, it refreshes the score every 15 seconds. And I'm like, let's just have the agent do like a countdown of when it's going to refresh the board next. It's really simple, but I'm thinking that's enough. That's going to be like a short prompt that we can be able to compare using entire graph versus not, and the token usage that happens there. That way we're not on the stream forever. I really hate long streams. Love Goose, yay! I love Goose too. All right. Okay, so we are going to, hopefully you guys understood what I'm saying, right? Like we're just going to add, instead of it just saying live and flashing, we're going to add it having a little countdown on when it's going to refresh the leaderboard next. And what I'm going to do is a little bit of setup. I want this to have like different work trees and stuff like that, so that it doesn't cross over. Is it like Graphify? To be honest, I don't know what Graphify is. I'm gonna be honest. Yeah. I don't know. But we'll read through when I give it the prompts and we're waiting for it, we'll read through like the README and stuff like that so that you can figure out if it's like Graphify. I just set up Graphify. I don't even know if I'm saying it right. I see a lot in my project, but if I can use entire instead to make the code graph searchable, that, by the way, when is Trails coming? When is Trails coming? I'm not able to speak about that, but you should use entire graph. And remember, it's an experimental mode, so if you can give us as much feedback as possible of your experience, that would be great. So we'll be able to put this out to the world. Okay, so let me set up I'm gonna set up the baseline one first, and then after that, I'm gonna do the graph one. Okay, so let's do this. I'm just gonna run a whole bunch of commands that I wrote down for myself. Cause sometimes when I'm on a live stream, I forget. I forget things. And then I start panicking like internally. I'm like, oh my God. All right. So what I'm basically doing is I'm going to make a work tree and make sure both of my work trees start from the same base commit. That way, like this is a fair like experiment. So this work tree is going to be called Planetfall baseline, and then I'll create another one called Planetfall graph. Okay. And I just want to make sure they both start at the same spot. What is trails? Okay. I know, right? It's a secret. It's we talked about it a bit in the keynote, but it's this new way of doing code review in a more like efficient way with your agent. Right now, like some of our theories is like um pull requests are like mad annoying right now because okay, example. Like I said, I'm a maintainer of Goose, and then sometimes people will be like, here's like this PR that's like 76 like files changed. I'm like, I can't review all that. Yeah, it's so hard. And it's like, I don't know why I started choking just now. Hold on. Okay. Yeah. And it's like cool that they're able to do it so quickly and awesome, but it's like, dang, I'm not trying to like I just physically can't read a million PRs that all have 76 files changed. So this is giving you a better idea of what has changed and is it risky to merge it into your code base. You're able to set up these things called gates and runners. You can think of them like how you have like CI workflows running. So you can have like your own little files, like here's the things that I determine are risky or poor security or slop, whatever categories that you want. And you put them into the to your trail, and you're able to review much easier. And then the other cool thing about trails is instead of like having a separate issue and separate PR and separate this and that, it kind of just combines everything into one. It's much better if I show you it, but I'd rather not get in trouble. I will tell you, look up, go if you're not in our Discord, join our Discord, and I'll have the CEO's keynote there, and you could watch that, and you will see me describing what it is. Um, that would be better. So I'm still doing the setup. Tire status is on. Okay. It's a lot of setup. I don't know if I mean, this is because I'm trying to do an experiment. It's not like you will always have to do this amount of setup. I'm just trying to make sure like we have entire enabled and we have these two different work trees that we can work from. Let's pray to the demo gods as well, because they're never on my side. I'm actually going to uninstall entire graph, because my first one is going to be like the baseline version. And I don't know if people realize this. I think when a lot of people tested entire graph, and I thought this too before I actually tested it on my own, I thought, oh my God, I have to like separately run entire graph, not part of entire's like CLI and stuff like that. But entire graph is actually a plugin. So what that is like it's adding a CLI command to entire without it necessarily um being like part of the original binary. But like you can add in like people internally can add in their own plugins for like experimental reasons and stuff like that. So we're trying to see like, is this valuable instead of like committing to it, putting it inside of our CLI like natively, you can have this as a plugin. Okay, so now we uninstalled it. I just want to make sure. Yeah. Okay, now we're gonna run our command or our prompt in Claude. And first I have to find the work tree that we're in. Documents, work. Hopefully this doesn't take too long. Documents, work. And what was the name of this thing? Planetfall. Why did I give it such a long name? Here we go. Baseline. Open that up, trust the workspace, bypass permissions all the time with me. If you're an agent and you're asking me if you could do something, you're not an agent, in my opinion. And then I'm just gonna make sure that entire is actually enabled. Hey, is entire enabled? I don't know. This is just me being superstitious or whatever. And where are we? PWD. We actually want to be. Let's see. Baseline. What? Oh, I forgot CD. That's odd. Let's just do that. Okay. For PWD, and then if I do entire session list. Okay, cool. Entire is enabled. I don't know. I just want to, because I've done some sessions and entire was not there. All right. So I'm just gonna put my prompt in. And what was my prompt that I had? Oh, Peyton, you put something in Discord. You pinned the thank you. You pinned the keynote. I will let me run this prompt so we can move forward and then I will show you the keynote. Here we go. I'm just gonna run this. Perfect. Hopefully this is not boring for you guys because we're not even at the graph part. We're just at the baseline so we can see how much tokens this uses. And hopefully code use a lot of tokens on this one. I'm using Fable 5, high. I don't know what else. Okay, so let me check the chat while this is running and then we can look at the readme and stuff like that. Yeah, Peyton linked I think I'm assuming this is the keynote. Let me drop it in the chat too, like the YouTube video. That way, if you're not in Discord, where are you? There's so much stuff that we drop every day that I can't even find it. That's a good thing. Okay, here we go. Right? It says official opening. I think they changed the link. I'm gonna look in Slack really quick or something. Because I can't click. That's the annoying thing about StreamYard. I could see Peyton's message, but I can't like copy and paste it for myself. Or let me look up keynote. Because it's pointing to something else. Aha, here it is. Here it is. And I link exactly to the second where we start talking about Trail. Thanks, Peyton. She put it in there. I'll put it in too. Okay. Great. So we put that in there, and then we can look at the entire graph. README. I also made this because I thought maybe this will be easier for people to understand. I don't know. It could have been stupid. It could have been stupid, but let's see. While it's running. Here. This is what I want to show you guys. Yeah. Yeah, maybe we'll start with this and then we'll go to the README while it's running. I think it's gonna run for like 5 minutes. That's the weird thing about streaming now. It's not like you're just typing and coding. You just gotta wait for your agent to be done. All right. So I kind of like worked with my agent to kind of like summarize what how I was learning this, right? So the whole idea is like stop rebuilding your code base in context. So entire graph is really giving your agents a deterministic. Oh, it's gonna, I don't know if you could hear the noise, but I don't want to hear it. Um, I don't know, my project or this project comes with background music. Maybe I'll just ignore it because it's gonna keep restarting anyways. All right, we'll just act like it's background music for the stream. But basically, it gives coding agents a deterministic local map of functions. Um, and basically, the whole idea is this is like graph orientation for your agent. I hate this. Hold on. Exit. I don't want to mess up the token usage because I want to tell it stop, don't run any music, but whatever. It's just distracting me. But okay. So basically you would just run your task normally, and what should happen is your entire graph should immediately do a graph search, like which would be one local query, and then it'll have like a rank structure for your agent. Like you're not seeing this stuff behind the scenes. And then after that, it can go ahead and like read and edit. I don't know if you guys can hear the music or it's just me, but it's really bothering me. And then from what they've tested, it's been like 54% fewer tokens. I haven't personally gotten that yet, but I could be doing something wrong. And then yeah, I could send you guys, I could paste this in the chat too. I know this says localhost, but I do have it running somewhere. But the whole idea is that this makes it a little better. I can't think with this, but okay. This is completed now, so we can make this shut up. Stop it. Thank you. Yeah, so this got completed already. So now we should be able to see. I wonder if it made a commit and connected it to a checkpoint. I'm just gonna say, did you connect this to a checkpoint? As you can see, I'm like really lazy. I don't run any commands ever. I could run like make sure it's like I could run entire checkpoint list or whatever, and I will in a second. But if my agent can do it, I will let it do it. But yeah, let's go to the README while it's doing that, and now I can focus a little bit better. But I love how we kind of wrote here like this release is for your agents. Entire graphs gives coding agents a pre-computed deterministic map of your code base. And then we benchmarked it here. And all of these commands, like I thought at first I have to run all of them and it's gonna be mad work. I didn't have to. Okay. So, and then they also have this agents.md, which is really just leading your agent to make sure it immediately runs like the entire graph search command. And then it finds who the neighbors are and stuff like that. That way your agent doesn't stop or is like, I don't know, you do it. So, let's see how much tokens we used here. Entire session list. Okay. Entire checkpoint. Or I could have done entire session checkpoints. I mean, not tech, I'm checkpoints, tokens. And it looks like low-key a lot just for this. I used 1,300. Okay, cool. Um, so I'm just gonna keep this just so we remember it and then go to the graph one. We're basically gonna run the same thing over again, but with graph installed. So I'll show you guys how I install graph, and this is the part you guys actually came for. So let us install graph. How did I do that before? I think it was like Mies local and a whole bunch of stuff. Let's see. Just gonna search. What am I currently working on? Um, I'm not really working on anything. I'm just showing how entire graph. I don't know if you missed it, but I'm showing how a tool called entire could potentially help you save tokens. All right, so I'm just gonna run a whole bunch of these commands. Here we go. I didn't get all of it. Mies trust, Mies install, Mies run install, and then let's see if we get graph in here. Uh-oh. Did not install it. Let's just look at the README. I tried to write down all my steps, but and I know where you're sitting, you're like Rizal, duh. But trust me, when you're on a live stream, you forget you'd be like, what's my name? I don't know. All right. Okay, let's see if it doesn't look like it got installed here. There's another way that I installed this. Let me look through. I'm just looking through like my past commands on my other computer. What did I do? Let's see. Mhm. Am I from? I don't know what flag that is, but I am not. I am born in Antigua, which is in the Caribbean, and my parents are from Guyana, which is not to be confused with Ghana. They're from South America. Okay, let's see. And I guess my shirt is a similar color to the flag you put. This is a random Jamaican shirt. Okay. Let me just keep searching for, because I think I did the install a whole different way, and now I can't remember. Doo-doo. We're getting there. We're getting there. Oh, duh, it was this. Found it. So I installed it as a plugin. Here we go. Entire plugin install. I just took the like local repo I have and then I did force. Now it should be installed if I do entire graph version. I want to have the latest version. Here it is. Awesome. I don't know the version in the README. I have to install more things. I'm too lazy for that. Perfect, perfect, perfect. All right. Now that we have this installed, phew, that was a close one. Was like, I do not want to waste the whole time looking for this. Let's go to our other work tree. So I'm gonna say they done this. I'm going to grab this work tree CD here. So are we in it? Yes, we are. Okay, and now we're going to, now that it's all installed, you could install it different ways. I already have Go installed, and I just wanted to make sure I installed the plugin for entire, because now I'll be able to run entire graph myself, right? Or my agent will most likely be running entire graph and not me. Next up is, let's see. I just want to make sure at the head is at the right commit, so it's a fair comparison. Here we go. Yep, there we are. And then I'm going to make sure we have entire install. It's going to this horrible name. Plentiful. Yes. This is it, right? I want to make sure, trust this workplace. I want to bypass permissions, like I said about it last time. And I'm just going to make sure again. Yeah. Plentiful title shortcuts graph. That's the same one. Okay. And we're going to give it the same prompt we gave it last time, except we should expect it to immediately run entire graph. Like we can see here, we can even go back and compare it, but it searched for a lot of files. It ran a grep, and it did a couple of things. So I want to see that it takes a different approach this time. Planetfall. I just want to make sure. I'm like nervous. Did you choose the right thing? I'm going to try it one more time. Just to make sure. I don't want to waste our time on that. Work. I have live stream demo trauma. Okay. Here we go. We do have it. Okay. I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to paste it. It's the same thing. We want to add that live indicator. I don't really care what it looks like, to be honest. I just want to see the results. So let's see what it's running behind the scenes here. So it's finding the files and it immediately went to do a grep, which isn't, oh, I missed a step. I did miss a step. Whoa. I missed a step. And that step is, I have to initialize. I have to do this. Let's see. I think it's in the README. I did miss a step. And this is the step here. In the repo that you're working in, this is the most important thing for entire graph to pay attention to the agents.md and know that it needs to run the entire graph first. You need to run this command. Okay. Now we can go back. We'll do one more session and try this again. It's a good thing we checked and didn't just let it run without us knowing. Okay, we're gonna try one more time. I'm gonna copy that prompt instead of searching for it. Copy, new. Yep, paste. Now we should say it's going to do entire graph. We don't want it to do any grepping. We don't want it to take the long route of searching. We want it to get to the like immediate place that it needs to be. Okay, perfect. It's right now running entire graph search. It's going to search my repo, and it's going to look for these keywords. And then after that, it's going to build out its this map, right? It's going to build out this map of the code base and how it works. It's a really small code base, so it shouldn't be too hard for it. But yeah. All right. No other comments. Cool. All right. So this should continue to work. We're going to hear the music again. It did a little bit of searching, but now it has a better like idea going in. And we'll see how much tokens we end up using. Right now we're at 1.1k tokens. So that's low key a lot. As long as it's less, I feel like we're winning. Any other thought or questions about entire graph? I'm pretty new to entire graph myself. So I just wanted to give people a quick overview of what it is. Because I think you can look at the README and be like, what is this? Why would I use this? Or maybe not. Maybe you just don't have the interest. The music is back. We'll just let it do its thing. It's just verifying how it's working here. I'll let it. Oop. Okay. No checkpoints. Okay. Uh, do y'all plan on publishing the benchmarking methodology? I'd love to be able to run other tools against your eval to compare. Ooh, I think I'll just give them that feedback. I don't know if they plan to, but I'm sure they'd be open to it. I was gonna check if we had anything. Maybe it was hidden somewhere. Methodology, prompts, harness, and every caveat are public in the GraphMark repo. Maybe this is it. I'm gonna link it to you right here. GraphMark is our compiler grounded reproducible benchmark for code intelligence. Comparing entire graph versus codebase memory MCP versus naive. I've never heard of naive. Yeah, I think that might be your answer. If not, tell me like, no, that wasn't it, girl. But I think that might help. Okay, still going. Okay, cool. I really have no patience for anything with agents, but we'll see. I usually am running a million things at a time, but I didn't want to confuse anybody during the live stream. Oh, Forge Mark 2. That's true. Thanks, Peyton. So we do have Forge Mark. And I thought that was, oop, that's the wrong thing, entire.io. I thought that was but Peyton would know better than me. I thought Forge Mark was our benchmark for like how fast our Git hosting platform was. Oh, for our evals. Okay, cool. Okay, this is done. Now we can compare. And please be a different amount of tokens. I have tried this before, but I just feel that every time I'm demoing something, that's when like an agent's like, I'm gonna switch up because agents they're not deterministic. They're not deterministic. Did you make sure you committed this and attached it to the checkpoint? Okay. The moment of truth is very, very soon. Let's see what cost says or usage. 38%. I don't know. That didn't tell me enough. Okay, cool. Doo-doo-doo. The moment of truth. I need some like suspenseful music, like dun dun. All right. So the feature work is committed and it's the checkpoint is attached. Perfect. So now I'm gonna see when I run entire checkpoint list, this is all the checkpoints that happen or all the moments that it captured, like what was going on in my agent session, the prompt tool call, everything. If I run entire checkpoint explain with the checkpoint ID or hash or whatever you want to call it, we get these tokens. And what did we have before? Oh man, it used more. That sucks. Okay. But I can show you guys in a prior run, it did use less tokens. Let's like maybe figure out why it used a little bit more here. I could have done something a little bit different. And also I will note that I didn't listen to the intern and he had a particular configuration as well. Let's see, where is he? Maybe I'll put this to this. You guys don't see anything private. Message me that graph mark is private for right now. So what I shared to you guys, you won't be able to see. But I think they'll eventually probably open source it and let you guys know. Here it is. He had like some particular configurations. I was able to get like a 6.2% savings of tokens. I want to just move this. Don't want you guys to see the direct messages, but whatever. And he had like a particular setup that maybe I need to add to mine. But let's ask Codex, which I always do, like what happened? Why did it not do those savings as we thought it would? And then same for maybe just finding the ones that that did give us savings. That was so disappointing. That always happens to me on a live stream though. I swear. Like watch me run this after the live stream and it'll be like it saved like 10 million tokens and I'll be like, all right, well, there are commands too that you can run. Like, let me show you guys. Where's this entire graph? But I just want my agent to run this itself. There's like some other commands. In addition, so search is for locating a fix. Neighbors is for figuring out the impact of a change, and then there's entire a graph diff, which will like review a diff and do the file by file reading. So I can run these myself, but I'm assuming when I ask Codex or Claude Code, like what happened here, it may just go ahead and run these on its own. So let's just see. I'm so sad, guys, that it didn't do what I wanted. Let's compare and then after that, we'll wrap the live stream. Feel free to ask more questions, or maybe even if you guys have suggestions of like what scenario I could have done that would have made more sense or something like that. But let's compare the results from, I think I'll do it in this same chat that I had before. Or this one. Okay, here we go. Let's compare the results from these 2 agent sessions and why graph didn't save me more tokens as I expected. Also, let me just double check. I just compared the session tokens to the checkpoint. Hold on, that might be my problem. Hold on. Checkpoint list. Here we go. Please be the reason. Checkpoint explain. Womp womp. Not really. Okay. Maybe I added an additional prompt or something like that. But let's see. Expected. I'm gonna give it like the work tree. Yeah, just do that here. And then let's see. Don't judge the way I use agents, guys. PWD. And like I was running this all night. Like and like different practices. Like let me see which one will work best. So I'm really disappointed because I was like, this one's gonna work for sure. Um there was another one that I was looking at that was pretty good on the savings. Let's see. It could be this. You get out of here. Nope. Okay, that's when I was pulling the latest. Um, you're right. The primary CLI testing guide. Could have the blah blah blah. Nope. A lot of this is like me using my agent to understand like how does this work? Why did this work this way? I do that a lot for learning. I don't know if people do that as well, but I think it's helpful for me. Oh, here's one where yeah, entire graph did win, I believe. And yeah, it had like a 6.2% difference. Um, the output token, the caching and everything. And here's what it said. This is what I wanted to give you guys. This is what I thought would happen. But first off, it said, and this was the same like prompt that I gave it last time. But basically it said, in terms of baseline exploration, Claude began with file searches. It listed the repository. It opened JavaScript, but later on it needed to do several more calls to locate the route and development setup. And the implementation still worked and passed browser verification. And then the other thing that happened was for the graph directed exploration, Claude's first action was using that graph search. And then after that, it like did all the stuff that it needs to do, both runs verified and did the like manual resets, etc., etc. But just the fact that it immediately went to entire graph search made it go down to 4 calls rather than I think this one had about 6 calls. Um, and yeah, that's like that was like the main takeaway that it got from it. Graph had a slightly shorter session duration. It changed a little bit less lines, so it was a little bit more efficient there as well, like less maybe slop code that it added in. And yeah, that's where I thought we were going to really see the value. But I want to know what went different here. Mm, it's still finding its reasons. Start Subway Surfer in a split window while your agents are running. Honestly, I should do that. That would be amazing. I usually just find more work to do. I'm like, well, all right, if I can't, like, I'll prompt something else or I'll write a blog post or something. Honestly, agents are made for ADHD. But let's see. We're still waiting. Come on. I should have done this on Medium. Who cares about like the super high reasoning? But yeah, I'm so disappointed because I really thought we were going to get that same experience. And maybe this is feedback for um maybe it's feedback for like the builders of this project, cuz Yeah, I could have that particular setup, but shouldn't I be able to still use this with like vanilla setup, or do we need to add that to the readme? I don't know. But yeah, still going. All right. So Graph only saved one discovery call. It reached the first edit after 4 tool calls versus 5 for a baseline. After that, Graph agent spent more time clicking around the browser. Okay, so the browser is what did it. Maybe next time I won't have it. I'll make sure it doesn't use like um I don't know if that's computer use or whatever for Claude Code, but that's the thing that killed it, which I feel like it shouldn't though. But that's what happened from what I'm like getting from this. And it's using entire search graph again to like verify and go through this. But any thoughts, guys? Any things that you would even want added to entire graph? Because this is really like early stage. Let me see when they built this. I'm just nosy. Oh, this, yeah. Yeah. They started pretty much like early-ish July. And now it's end of July. So there's always more to continue adding to this. But I did just want to give everybody like a little preview. Or what did you guys even think too? Like how do you think this could be better for you? Like what were you hoping this would be like? I mean, besides obviously the token saving. And we can pretend that it did because I have proof that it did last time for me. But yeah, what other things will you want from like memory for your agent? And finally, Graph did not save tokens in this run. It found the right code faster, but that small discovery win was overwhelmed by larger search output, whole file reading, extra browser verification, and checkpoint follow-up calls. Okay, I did do this part, but still, I don't think it should have been that different. Almost 95% of the token increase was cached context being replayed across additional model calls. Okay, that's really good to know as well because it did less calls before editing. Graph became an additive instead of a replacing exploration. Okay, okay. Good to know. So just some things to note for myself or even you as you try this out. Please try this out, guys. Help us make this better. Um so that we can continue to make the platform that you guys need for you collaborating with your agents. And that's it for me for Friday. It's like a sunny day. I hope it's sunny day for you guys too. So I'll probably do like a little bit more work, but I also want to touch some grass. So thank you so much for even tuning in. Hopefully I'm back to show more stuff. Like experimental. I'm okay for me if things, I mean, I'm a little disappointed, but I'm okay if I do experiments that may or may not work out in the end. But yeah, that is it. All right, bye.